In today's noisy world, where every moment is filled with endless conversations, constant thoughts, and flashing devices, we forget that power does not lie in speaking more or thinking more. The Stoic philosophers, centuries ago, understood this profound truth. They believed that sometimes the greatest power lies in knowing when to stop. By mastering the art of thinking less, speaking less, and focusing more, you can unlock a life of tranquility, wisdom, and success. Imagine how different your life could be if you could just take a step back, silence the chaos in your mind, and tune in to what truly matters. In this video, we will explore 7 essential benefits of adopting Stoic principles in your life. Principles that can help you reduce stress, increase calmness, and live more meaningfully. Let's begin with the first benefit, reducing stress and anxiety. Have you ever felt like your mind is a spinning wheel of thoughts, endlessly repeating the same worries, fears, and doubts? It's like a constant hum in the background of your life, making everything seem harder than it needs to be. You dwell on the past, obsess about the future, and constantly worry about how others perceive you. It's as if you're trapped in a cycle that never ends. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in. Stoics understood that overthinking is a trap that entangles us in our own minds, eroding our peace and causing unnecessary stress. Let's take a deeper look at what this overthinking really is. Many of us mistakenly believe that the more we think, the more control we have over our lives. We think that by worrying, we can somehow prevent bad things from happening, or that by analyzing every possible outcome, we can prepare ourselves for any scenario. But in reality, overthinking only invites more confusion, more uncertainty, and more fear. It clouds our judgment and prevents us from seeing the world clearly. In fact, when we overthink, we waste energy on things that are entirely out of our control. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the view he takes of them." This is a profound truth that we often overlook. The events in our lives, whether it's a failure, a criticism, or a setback, are not what upset us. It's our perception of those events that causes the emotional turmoil. Think about it for a moment. When something happens, like a criticism or a failure, it's your perception of it that determines your emotional reaction. If you see a comment as a personal attack, you'll feel hurt. If you view failure as a sign of weakness, you'll blame yourself. But what if you could change that perception? Here's where the Stoic approach really shines. Thinking less and focusing only on what you can control. This doesn't mean ignoring the challenges or pretending they don't exist. It means choosing not to waste mental energy on things you can't change. When you adopt this mindset, you'll find that you stop being so affected by every little thing that happens. You stop worrying about how others perceive you, and you stop overanalyzing situations that are beyond your control. It's not easy, but it's incredibly freeing. You'll notice that the anxiety you once carried around starts to fade. And in its place, you'll experience a sense of calm and clarity. Imagine this. You're stepping into a new class or trying something for the first time. Instead of your mind racing with worries, am I doing this right? What if I mess up? You choose to simply be present. You choose to let go of those unnecessary thoughts and focus on the moment. And suddenly, everything feels easier, your mind becomes clearer, and you can actually enjoy the experience. By thinking less, you've opened up mental space to fully engage with life as it is, without the weight of unnecessary worries dragging you down. This is the power of letting go. It's not about being indifferent or careless. It's about making a conscious choice to focus on what truly matters. And when you do this, you'll find that your stress and anxiety begin to melt away. You'll feel lighter, freer, and more at peace with yourself. It's a shift in perspective, and it can change everything. Self-care isn't just about taking care of your body. It's also about nurturing your mind. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and chaotic. Every day, we are bombarded by noise, from social media, work demands, and the constant hum of modern life. But what if we could find peace in the midst of all this noise? What if the key to inner calm and serenity lies not in doing more, but in doing less? Stoicism, as a philosophy, teaches us to find peace not by adding more to our lives, but by simplifying them, by focusing on what truly matters. One of the most powerful ways to achieve this inner calm is through silence. It may sound counterintuitive in a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, but silence is incredibly powerful. Epicurus, another great Stoic philosopher, once said, "Keep silence for the most part and speak only when you must." And then briefly, silence, in this sense, is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of wisdom. Think about it. When you speak less, you avoid unnecessary mistakes, misunderstandings, and conflicts. You stop engaging in pointless arguments, and you conserve your energy. Silence allows you to listen, reflect, and understand more deeply. I'll be honest, silence can be uncomfortable at first. It's hard not to fill the space with words, especially when we're so used to constant conversation. But what if, instead of talking more, you gave yourself permission to say less? By embracing silence, you don't just avoid unnecessary drama. You also give yourself time to think. You give yourself space to breathe, to reflect on your choices, and to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. In doing so, you open the door to calmness and serenity. Consider Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history. He's known for his moments of silence during meetings. He doesn't rush to fill the air with words. Instead, he listens, observes, and takes the time to reflect before speaking. His silence isn't a sign of weakness or uncertainty. It's a demonstration of control, power, and self-assurance. He knows that in silence, there's strength. His words, when they do come, carry weight. They are carefully chosen and deliberate, and that's why people listen when he speaks. But this is not just about personal power. Silence also has the power to influence those around you. When you choose to be silent, You force others to reflect on their words and actions. You create space for deeper conversation, for more thoughtful responses. People will begin to respect you more, not for how much you talk, but for how carefully you listen. Silence, in this way, becomes a tool of influence and control. It gives you the upper hand in conversations and decisions. In my personal experience, I've found that embracing silence has been one of the most transformative practices, not just for reducing stress, but for increasing my sense of control. In a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control, silence has been my anchor. It's like taking a deep breath in the middle of a storm. It doesn't change the world around you, but it helps you stay grounded. It gives you the space to think clearly, to regain perspective, and to approach challenges with a calm and steady mind. So, here's a challenge for you. Try practicing silence in your own life. Start small. Take moments throughout the day where you choose not to speak, not to react, and not to engage in the noise around you. See how it changes your perspective, your relationships, and your overall sense of calm. By embracing silence, you're not just retreating from the chaos, you're reclaiming your peace, your power, and your ability to live with intention. Silence may just be the key to unlocking a life of serenity that you didn't even know was possible. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. We're constantly pulled in different directions, making it hard to stay focused on what truly matters. Notifications, emails, social media, work demands, each one constantly vying for our attention. It's no wonder that many of us find it challenging to stay present and productive. But Stoicism offers a solution. Focus isn't just a natural trait, it's a skill that can be cultivated. And when you master it, the results are life-changing. The danger of distractions is subtle. Many people waste time without even realizing it. They might seem busy, scrolling through emails, checking their phones, engaging in trivial conversations, but all of this is nothing more than noise. This lack of focus wastes precious time and energy. As Seneca once said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. This hits hard, doesn't it? How often do we find ourselves busy, but not truly productive? How often do we look back on the day and realize that we've been running around, caught in the whirlwind of distractions, but haven't really moved closer to our goals? The key to increasing productivity, as the Stoics teach, is learning to eliminate distractions. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly difficult in today's world, where distractions seem to be built into every aspect of our lives. However, Stoicism gives us a powerful tool: focus. By reducing unnecessary thoughts and limiting pointless conversations, you free up your mind to focus on what truly matters. Imagine being able to dedicate all of your energy to one task without constantly checking your phone or wondering about the next thing on your to-do list. That's the kind of productivity that Stoic principles can help you achieve. To train your focus, you must first learn to control your thoughts. This is where Stoicism's teachings come into play. The Stoics were masters of their inner worlds. They understood that the mind is often the biggest source of distraction. Our thoughts can be our greatest allies or our worst enemies. If we allow every passing thought to consume us, we are constantly jumping from one idea to the next, never truly giving ourselves the time to concentrate on what's important. So, ask yourself, is this thought worth my energy? If the answer is no, let it go. This is a powerful practice that can be life-changing. Over time, you'll notice that you stop engaging with irrelevant thoughts, and your mind becomes a clearer, more focused place. But focus isn't just about controlling your thoughts. It's also about controlling your external environment. You have to eliminate distractions. Turn off your phone or at least set it to do not disturb. Close irrelevant tabs on your computer, and try to create a work environment that fosters concentration. These may sound like small adjustments, but the impact they can have on your productivity is enormous. When you reduce external distractions, you give yourself the gift of undivided attention, and that's when true focus happens. Think of a time when you've been completely immersed in a task. Whether it's reading, working on a project, or creating something, in that moment, you are in the zone, completely focused, completely present. Time seems to slow down, and you feel a sense of accomplishment as you make progress. This is the power of focus, and it's something we can all cultivate. By practicing Stoic principles, you can train yourself to be more focused, more productive, and more effective. And the best part, you don't have to do it alone. Every step you take to eliminate distractions and control your thoughts brings you closer to a life of intentional, meaningful productivity. I've personally found that embracing this Stoic approach to focus has transformed the way I work. I used to be someone who felt constantly busy but never really productive. Now, by cutting out distractions and honing my ability to focus, I accomplish more in less time. It's liberating. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, with greater clarity and purpose. And trust me, when you start to experience the power of focus, you'll never look back. Self-control is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's the ability to resist impulsive actions and emotions, and instead, act with purpose and intention. In a world where everything seems to demand an immediate response, from the phone buzzing with notifications to the pressure of rapid decisions at work, self-control is becoming a rare and powerful skill. Yet, it is also one of the most important traits for achieving inner peace, clarity, and success. Think about the last time something provoked you. How quickly did you react? How often do we find ourselves reacting without thinking, letting our emotions dictate our actions, and regretting it later? The power of restraint is immense. Imagine a situation where someone insults you. Your first instinct might be to fire back, to defend yourself, to express that surge of anger. But what if, instead of reacting impulsively, you paused for a moment? In that brief pause, you regain control. You take a breath, step back, and allow yourself the space to choose how you want to respond. In that moment, you shift from being a slave to your emotions to being the master of your own reactions. This is the power of restraint. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and then deciding how you will act in response. Think about how often we let our emotions drive us. When we feel stressed, we eat comfort food. When we're angry, we lash out. When we're anxious, we procrastinate. These are all impulsive reactions, guided by emotions rather than reason. But Stoicism teaches us that we can break free from these automatic responses. We can create space between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose a path that aligns with our values and goals. In every moment, we have the power to decide, will we let our emotions control us? Or will we choose to act with intention? For instance, think about a time when you faced a difficult decision. It could have been choosing between a tempting shortcut or doing things the right way, responding to a comment that challenged you, or deciding whether to give in to a craving. The instant reaction might be impulsive, but the Stoic way is to pause, reflect, and act with clarity. The more we practice self-control, the easier it becomes to make decisions that align with our long-term goals, rather than giving in to temporary desires. I've experienced this personally, and I can tell you it's transformative. In my life, there were times when I acted impulsively out of frustration, stress, or fear. I'd speak without thinking, make rash decisions, or let my emotions lead the way. But when I began to embrace the Stoic principle of self-control, taking a pause, assessing my emotions, and choosing my actions carefully, everything changed. I found that not only did my relationships improve, but my sense of inner peace and personal power grew exponentially. Self-control doesn't mean that you never feel angry, sad, or frustrated. It doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. Instead, it means you give yourself the power to respond, rather than react. You take back the reins of your own life, instead of letting external circumstances dictate your state of being. The more we practice this kind of restraint, the more we begin to see the long-term benefits, deeper relationships, better decision-making, and a life that is less ruled by momentary emotions and more aligned with our core values. In a way, mastering self-control is like exercising a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets, and when you make self-control a habit, you begin to see its ripple effect in every aspect of your life. You begin to respond to life's challenges with patience, clarity, and purpose, and in that, you find true freedom. Freedom not from emotions, but from being controlled by them. This is the path of the Stoic. This is the power of self-control. Effective communication is not just about exchanging information. It's about connecting with others on a deeper level. In today's fast-paced world, we often rush to speak, eager to share our thoughts and get our point across as quickly as possible. But the truth is, when we speak too much, we risk diluting the power of our message. Communication isn't about saying everything that's on your mind. It's about saying the right things at the right time. By speaking less and focusing on what truly matters, your words will carry more weight. Think about the most impactful communicators you've encountered. What stands out about them? They don't just talk, They engage, they pause, they reflect, and they make every word count. This brings us to the art of strategic pauses. Great communicators like Simon Sinek are masters of this technique. Instead of rushing through their speech or presentation, they deliberately pause at key moments. These pauses aren't awkward silences. They are moments of anticipation. When Sinek speaks, you feel the weight of his words, because he gives you space to absorb what he's just said. His pauses don't weaken the message, they strengthen it. They make the audience lean in, eager to hear more. When you master the art of strategic pauses, your communication shifts from transactional to transformational. The people you're speaking to will stop merely listening to your words. They will feel your message. This is not just about conveying information, it's about creating a connection, a bond. By choosing to speak less, you create room for others to contribute, to reflect, and to engage. You show them that their thoughts and opinions matter just as much as yours. And in doing so, you foster a deeper level of trust and respect. But it's not just about using pauses strategically. It's also about choosing your words carefully. We live in a world where opinions are often shared in abundance, but meaning is often lost in the noise. The more we speak, the more diluted our message becomes. I've found that when I've spoken less and been more intentional with my words, the response has been more impactful. People listen, they remember, and they act. It's not about talking louder or more frequently. It's about speaking with purpose and clarity. Take a moment and think about how you communicate on a daily basis. Are your words rushed and scattered, or are they intentional and deliberate? How often do you find yourself speaking just to fill the silence or to prove a point, rather than speaking because you truly have something important to share? Effective communication isn't about being heard all the time. It's about choosing when to speak, how to speak, and what to say. When you make your words count, you create a sense of meaning and purpose in every conversation. I've realized that when I focus on what truly matters in a conversation, when I speak from a place of intention and clarity, it changes everything. It changes how people perceive me, how they respond to me, and how we connect. The impact of effective communication isn't just in what is said, but in how it is received. And when you communicate with purpose, your words will not only be heard, they will be respected. You will create deeper, more meaningful connections with the people around you. And that, ultimately, is the true power of communication. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, those who speak less often gain more respect. Silence is not a sign of weakness, it's a demonstration of strength. Think about the people in your life who command respect. Chances are, they're not the loudest in the room, but when they speak, everyone listens. Their words have power, not because they speak more, but because they speak thoughtfully and intentionally. Silence, when practiced with purpose, can elevate your presence and make your words more impactful. The value of silence is something that cannot be underestimated. We live in a time where noise surrounds us constantly: social media, endless notifications, and conversations that never seem to end. In the midst of all this noise, Those who are able to step back and choose their moments to speak stand out. When you speak less and choose your words carefully, people start to value what you say. You become someone whose words carry weight. This isn't just about being quiet for the sake of it. It's about understanding the power of restraint. When you withhold unnecessary words, you create an aura of contemplation. People begin to recognize that when you do speak, it's with purpose. You've cultivated an air of wisdom because you've mastered the art of silence. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." And what are your ambitions if not to be someone whose thoughts and opinions matter? The ability to speak less but with greater impact can help you shape your reputation in profound ways. You become known for your ability to listen, to reflect, and to contribute meaningfully when the time is right. People respect those who don't feel the need to fill every silence with chatter. Those who understand that their words are valuable only when used wisely. In my own life, I've realized the immense power of silence. There was a time when I would try to prove myself by speaking more, filling every conversation with my thoughts, and constantly trying to be heard. But what I found was that the more I spoke, the less people seemed to listen. I was so caught up in trying to be heard that I missed the deeper lesson. True respect doesn't come from the volume of your voice. It comes from the value of your words. When I began to embrace silence and carefully consider when to speak, I noticed a shift. People started to listen when I spoke. They valued my input more because they knew that when I spoke, it was thoughtful, measured, and purposeful. Building respect doesn't happen overnight, but it's an intentional process. The more you practice silence, the more others will come to respect you for your ability to remain calm, collected, and focused. Silence isn't about avoiding conversation or retreating from the world. It's about understanding the dynamics of human interaction and knowing when to step in and when to step back. By mastering this, you can build respect that's rooted in genuine influence, not just the noise you create. It's not easy. In fact, it requires an immense amount of self-discipline. But once you learn to use silence strategically, you'll find that people respect you not only for what you say but for the way you say it. And in that respect, you'll see that silence isn't empty. It's full of power, full of influence, and full of strength. Living a meaningful life doesn't mean filling it with distractions and excess. It doesn't mean chasing after every new trend, collecting things that ultimately don't bring happiness, or constantly searching for external validation. Instead, it's about focusing on what truly matters. It's about cutting through the noise and simplifying your life so that you can focus on the core elements that bring you fulfillment and peace. In a world where we are constantly told that more is better, simplicity can feel like a radical choice, but it's a path that leads to true happiness. Simplicity, as a path to happiness, is about removing the clutter from your life. And I'm not just talking about physical clutter, though that is part of it, but mental and emotional clutter as well. When you stop overthinking and speaking unnecessarily, you create space for what is truly important. You give yourself the freedom to focus on the things that matter, your relationships, your health, your passions, and your personal growth. It's so easy to get lost in the maze of daily tasks, distractions, and obligations that we forget what really brings joy and fulfillment. I've learned this lesson the hard way. There was a time in my life when I was chasing everything: the next career step, the next gadget, the next social event, thinking that these things would fill the emptiness I felt inside. But all they did was add more noise to my life. I found myself overwhelmed, constantly moving but never really going anywhere. It wasn't until I decided to simplify my life, to focus less on the noise and more on the things that brought me real joy, that I began to feel truly alive. I started to invest more time in my family, in meaningful work, and in personal growth. I realized that these were the things that truly mattered, the things that gave my life meaning and direction. A simple life isn't about giving up ambition or settling for less. It's about finding clarity, about aligning your actions with your values, and focusing on what truly brings you happiness. Ambition is not bad. It's what drives us forward, what pushes us to grow and achieve. But when that ambition is cluttered with distractions and the pursuit of superficial goals, it becomes a burden rather than a source of motivation. True fulfillment comes when your ambition aligns with your deeper values, when you work towards goals that bring meaning to your life, when you focus on what truly matters. You free yourself from unnecessary worries and distractions. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you. You stop worrying about what others think, about keeping up with the latest trends, or about filling every moment of your life with activity. Instead, you create space for the things that truly make you happy, the relationships that nourish you, the work that fulfills you, and the personal growth that empowers you. By thinking less and focusing more, you embrace the present moment. You stop letting the constant chatter in your mind dictate your life, and you start living with intention. You begin to notice the small things, those moments of peace, those simple joys that often go unnoticed when you're caught up in the rush of life. Whether it's a quiet evening with family, a moment of reflection, or the satisfaction of completing a meaningful task, these are the things that truly add value to your life. Simplifying your life doesn't mean sacrificing ambition or dreams. It means aligning your actions with what truly brings you fulfillment. It means living intentionally, focusing on what matters most, and letting go of the rest. In doing so, you create space for a life that is not only simpler, but also richer, more meaningful, and more connected. And when you embrace this simplicity, you'll find that happiness isn't something you have to chase. It's something that comes naturally when you focus on the things that truly matter. By applying the Stoic principles of thinking less, speaking less, and focusing more, you can truly transform your life. These ancient teachings offer a roadmap to not just survive in today's chaotic world, but to thrive. When you learn to reduce stress, increase your inner calm, improve your focus, and build respect from others, you begin to unlock a level of peace and effectiveness that many only dream of. The Stoic philosophers understood that while we cannot control the world around us, We absolutely have the power to control how we respond to it. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Imagine what it would feel like to regain control over your thoughts, to stop the cycle of overthinking and to choose your words carefully rather than being swept away by every passing emotion. Think about the impact of eliminating unnecessary distractions from your life. How much more productive, focused, and peaceful you would become. This isn't just some lofty ideal. It's something that is within your grasp. By mastering your thoughts, words, and focus, you can create a life that is not only more peaceful but also more meaningful and effective. And it starts with one simple decision: to think less, speak less, and focus more. I can tell you from personal experience that embracing these Stoic principles has been life-changing. There was a time when I was overwhelmed, constantly running after the next thing, feeling like I was always chasing after something that kept slipping through my fingers. I was constantly reacting to the noise around me, and it left me feeling drained, anxious, and unfulfilled. But the moment I started applying these Stoic principles, choosing silence over unnecessary conversation, reflecting before reacting, focusing on what truly mattered, I began to see everything shift. My stress levels dropped, my productivity soared, and most importantly, I felt at peace in a way I never had before. I've experienced firsthand the power of Stoicism, and I can tell you, it works. Now, I want to challenge you. How can you start applying these Stoic principles in your own life? What distractions or negative thoughts can you let go of to create more space for what truly matters? Think about the areas where you can focus more and speak less. Maybe it's in your work, where you could give yourself the space to focus deeply instead of multitasking. Perhaps it's in your relationships, where you can choose to listen more and talk less. Whatever it is, take that first step today. Start small, but be consistent. The transformation will follow. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What Stoic principle are you going to start with? Let's build a community of people committed to living intentionally, peacefully, and effectively. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more content that will inspire you to make the most of each day. Take action now. Your future self will thank you for it.